What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Friday morning episode of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault. How are you on this Friday morning? Wherever you may be in this great world of ours, Daily Juice Global, as we know. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt, and this podcast being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com. The promo code is JUICE in the search bar for you guys to go get $30 off your order. Minimum purchase may be required at OmahaSteaks.com during the semi-annual sale going on right now. 50% off site-wide, $30 off with juice at OmahaSteaks.com. Okay, so 2-1 night, winning night. The only bet that went down was the Sharks, who won the game outright by a lopsided margin. So I was right to question the plus 145, but we took it anyway because I would make that bet every time. We get the team total on the Ravens over. We got that, which was easy. We had that in the third quarter, and then we got the basketball bet pretty simply as well. OKC all over the Warriors. So that was good. So 2-1, up a full unit on the day. So good week going as we head towards Friday. This card, I don't know what the hell to do about it, to be quite honest. This is a big basketball card. I don't like the college basketball games. Great games Saturday and Sunday. I have one NBA play, I have one college football play, and I have one hockey play. So one bet in three sports. Let's see if we can go 2-1 again here tonight on a Friday as we head towards Saturday. Obviously a big card on Saturday, big card on Sunday. No need to really overcommit here on a Friday. Let's just keep it kind of small. If I add anything, I always tell you guys at Sports Talk Matt at Sports Talk Matt on the Discord channel. I will post it on the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat. By the way, you like the t-shirt? If you're watching, the Daily Juice t-shirts are really nice. They're soft, they're fitting, they're comfortable, they're great. I love them. bettingpros.com/shop to go get your own Daily Juice t-shirt that's available right now. Let's talk about Colorado at Washington State. Numbers 4.5 or 4. You want to bet on either one of these teams because they both stink. Colorado hasn't won since they beat Arizona on the road back on the 7th of October. It's mid-November. But Washington hasn't won going all the way back to September. They haven't won since the 23rd of September. They beat Oregon State somehow. But since then, they've lost to UCLA, Arizona, Oregon, Arizona State, Stanford, and Cal. The Buffaloes, they have lost 4 in a row, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, and Arizona. But they have covered 3 in a row. Plus 4.5, plus 4. Maybe you want to bet Colorado. But on the road, no thank you. I want no part of it, okay? They were catching 14 against UCLA the last time they went on the road, and they lost by 12. I don't think they win this game, but this is the last game for them for Colorado to potentially win. I'm going to go team total, though. Washington State's team total was 34.5. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because you look at the home games for Washington State. Now, let's talk about the games recently, not the games early in the year when things were going well. Recently, they have scored 6 points and 7 points. Now, they scored 38 against Oregon State back on September 23rd, the last win that they had. But they've only played 2 home games. They've been on the road a ton. Home for Arizona, they lost 44-6, and home against Stanford, they lost 10-7. The team total for Washington State is 34.5 tonight. Now, that's because the Buffalo's defense is god-awful, okay? We know this. On the road, they gave up 28 points to UCLA. On the road against Arizona State, they gave up 24 points. Against Oregon, they gave up 42 points. But what do you make of Washington State's offense? They throw the ball a lot, but they haven't been putting up points. The weather's going to be chilly. Now, that doesn't matter too much for an under, but 34.5 points? I don't know if Washington State can score that many points. FanDuel has this at minus 125, under 34.5 points for Washington State. We bet over for the Ravens. I'm going to bet under here for Washington State. They're the home team, but I don't know if they win the game. And if they do win the game, the total is 62.5. It's coming down. It opened at 64. Teams are playing under. I don't think Washington State can score 35 points on Colorado. Now, we got to avoid pick sixes. We got to avoid fumbles in the red zone. We got to, or in the opposing red zone. We got to avoid, big mistakes, kick returns or punt blocks and stuff like that. But I think just Washington State's offense going and scoring 35 points, I'm going to lay the juice under 34.5 points. Washington State team total at -125. Now, it is the NBA in-season tournament return. There's a ton of good games. Boston's at Toronto. Celtics are laying 6.5. You got the Knicks against the Washington Wizards. Phoenix is at Utah, laying 5. Lakers are at Portland, laying 7.5. Clippers are at home against Houston, who's been ridiculously red hot. Clippers laying 5.5. I'd probably take the points there with Houston. But I don't love much of this, okay? I don't want to lay 8 points with Milwaukee against Charlotte. These games aren't great, except there is one game that I like because it falls directly into one of my favorite trends. The Cleveland Cavaliers at home against an Eastern Conference foe. They've been very good the last 2 years to the under. We bet this with the Knicks a little while ago. The total is 221.5. I'm betting under. Under 221.5 for the Cleveland Cavaliers at home against the Detroit Pistons. This number opened up at 224.5. It's already been bet down to 221.5. I would prefer to go with 224.5. I bet under 221.5. Hopefully this number doesn't drop too far down for you guys. I wouldn't go under 220, but I think this is just a game in which I, generally speaking, when the Cavs play at home against an Eastern Conference opponent, I bet under. I'm betting under. Under 221.5 for the Cavs and the Detroit Pistons. Just so you guys don't think I'm betting everything under today, there's only 3 games, one of which is early in Sweden at this dome structure. If you want to go ahead and bet that, you can bet that, but it's a really early game, and I'm not really interested in betting that early in the morning, to be quite honest. It is Detroit, 6.5 is the total up against Toronto. That's an 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. I mean, literally going on during BVB, my other show. It'll be going on tomorrow on the NHL Network. I don't know what to make of that, to be quite honest. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm like, but over. I mean, it was over yesterday, 5-4 final yesterday in the same building between Ottawa and Detroit, back-to-back. I go over. But officially, Sabres and the Winnipeg Jets are playing. Winnipeg at home, 4-3-1 straight up. Buffalo is 3-3-1 on the road. Total is 6.5. -110, -115. Sabres, last 5 games. 5-2, 4-0, 3-2, 3-2, 6-4. On the road, 6-4 and 4-0, 3-2 in overtime against Carolina. But the Jets, 6-3, 3-2, 6-3, 5-2, 5-3. Winnipeg is scoring a ton. And frankly, it doesn't matter who plays net all that much for me with Buffalo. I mean, Levy got lit up last time he was out. Luukkonen can have bad games. He's 3-3-1. Hellebuck's been okay, but not great. He's 7-4-1 with a 2.99 goals against average. Winnipeg at home has been pretty good recently to the over, which is somewhat of a surprise because this was an under team for a while, but they're scoring goals. And you might go like, well, will it continue here tonight? I mean, I think so. I'm betting the over. I think Winnipeg will score. I think Buffalo will score. And I think we'll see offense here between these two teams. And it's just one of those situations where, the goaltenders don't matter all that much. The Sabres are 2-1 over the last 5 games on the road. So you could say, they've been an under team a bit. But overall, Buffalo's 3-2 over the last 5 to the over. Over the last 10 for Buffalo on the road, they're 4-3 at home. For Winnipeg, from an over perspective, over the last 10, Winnipeg is pretty much a 500 team as well to the over. They're 4-3-1 to the over. So this is kind of a gut feel here. I'm going to go over. I think Buffalo and Winnipeg, I think we get offense here, even without Tage Thompson being out there with a broken wrist. That's kind of a bummer for Buffalo, but I'm going to bet the over. Over 6.5, -115 for the Sabres and the Jets here today in the NHL. Hockey's been cold, okay? So although what's weird, all of my personal plays that I talked about yesterday on the podcast, they all hit. but the hockey play missed. Vegas in regulation against Montreal, that hit. Calgary over, that hit. There was one other one, I forget, with the over that I liked. That came in, I forget. Oh, Vancouver. Vancouver over, that hit. So, maybe it's just the ones that make official haven't been good. I don't really know what else I would bet here today. I would bet the over in the early game if you want, but I'm not making it official because it's so early in the morning. But I would bet over for Toronto and Detroit in Sweden for that one. Okay, so 3 bets for us on our Friday. Washington State under their team total of 34.5 points at -125. Under 221.5 Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons. And Buffalo over 6.5 up against the Winnipeg Jets at -115. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt each and every morning. The Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.